For over a month, I've been using a $29 Harbor Freight bike rack to carry bikes around. I ordered a better rack. I ordered a Curt, but I ordered it from a Sears Marketplace seller. What they shipped was not a bike rack. It was a thing called a pinkle, big chunk of industrial metal. A month later, I finally got my money back. I had to get Sears involved, so I've been Harbor Freight bike racking it since then. It's worked out okay, but there are limitations. I'm limited into where I can go and what bike I can take. A modern geometry mountain bike just doesn't work out well on this rack. If you want to take a full suspension bike, that's not going to work at all. Things are going to hang off in all directions, plus the weight alone starts getting me a little concerned on this cheap rack. And bikes with 29-inch wheels, that gets plain scary and potentially dangerous. Things hang about 2 to 3 inches from the ground. And it's not just mountain bikes. Some hardtails have odd frames. Take the Pacific Evolution. I can't even get the bike on the rack, no matter what angle I put it at. Even with the limitations, this rack served me okay for over a month. It's kind of been that stopgap. I wouldn't have had a rack if it wouldn't have been for this thing. But there has been some benefit to all of this. It's made me rethink things. And in rethinking things, I ended up buying the rack that I really wanted to begin with. The Saris Superclamp is a bike rack that allows you to carry bikes without anything touching the frame. So no marring of your beautiful finishes like on my Redux 3. Everything's held by the wheels. Hindsight's always 20/20, but the reason I didn't buy this rack to begin with was just the cost. Things around $350 to $400 online. The reason I bought it is I found it on Amazon for $290. It's also worth note that if you're going to buy this rack, you may end up spending even more money. If you have a fat tire bike, you're going to need some extra wheel holders. Those are going to set you back about $30 to $50 more. Have a freakishly long bike? You're going to need the Freedom long wheelbase bar. That's another $80 to $100. I didn't need any of those extra parts, so I got out pretty cheap. But I ordered this from Amazon. It came in its original box, and UPS had done their thing to the box. There was a big rip and a hole, and I could hear things rattling around inside. I was a little shocked to see that for a $400 rack, things were just kind of loosely packed down in there. With the poor packaging, I expected things to be beat up. They weren't. But I did have random loose parts and instructions that said there were supposed to be 7 pieces. I'm no math major, but this isn't 7 pieces. Wouldn't you know it, the only thing that's missing is a critical bolt. One of the 2 pieces that I need to get this thing together. No problem. I called the Saris support number, and a week later, I had my replacement part. With all the parts, I can now assemble and get everything on the car. Now this thing weighs 32 pounds, so it's a little beefy to move around by yourself. And it's held in place with an anti-rattle bolt. It's a little tight, but it secures the rack very well. The Saris includes a lock to go on the anti-rattle bolt. I like this. No cotter pin here, you get a good securing lock. Now there's only one key that comes with this unit. So you want to make sure you keep that key, because if you lose the one key, you'll have no way to get this thing off your car. And once installed with the anti-rattle bolt and the lock, this thing is solid. The car moves, not the rack. The included instructions are minimalist, and that's because this thing's practically idiot-proof. I'm an idiot. I didn't even read the instructions, and I had no problem figuring things out. There are 2 arms that fold out, and on the ends of the arms are the clamps. Yellow buttons allow you to move up and down on the clamps. Now this is the basic super clamp. It doesn't have any tilt feature, so you need to have the bike off of the rack to get into your trunk or your hatch. There is a SuperClamp EX that tilts so you can get to things with the bikes on the rack. But I didn't go for that. I think it's an extra $100. The wheel holders are plastic, but they seem pretty sturdy. They have yellow knobs that allow you to adjust and move as you need to fit just about any frame bike. The knobs are yellow, so pretty much if it's yellow, it's adjustable on this rack. On each end of the rack are retractable braided steel security cables. Now I don't know how much these are actually going to secure things, but it is a nice touch and it makes you feel better with them secured. They clip into the bottle opener on the front of the rack. Now that's keyed so it locks in place, but remember, one key, so hang on to that. Seth's Bike Hacks uses one of these racks, and he said that this was a bottle opener. I thought he was just being resourceful. I contacted Saris and they confirmed it's actually a bottle opener. I don't drink, so it's not going to be of much use to me. Can't open a twist open bottle of Evian. but it's a nice touch for the people that can use it. All the quirky features aside, as a bike rack, this thing excels. It's as easy as it looks like it is to get the bike on and off. I can't believe how well it functions. Using the wheel clamps for the first time, you rapidly discover why they call it a super clamp. It's super easy to use. You just press and go. The bike's not going to move. And no matter what the size, shape, or material your bike frame is made of, it's going to fit on this rack. Here you see the Pacific Evolution. I couldn't even get it on the Harbor Freight rack. But because of the super clamp design, it fits like a charm. Just press and go. Even though it fits, there's really no reason to have the Pacific Evolution on a bike rack. I can't think of a reason why you would carry it anywhere, other than maybe to the dump. Adjusting the rack from one bike to the next. Here it takes about 5 seconds to go from the Pacific Evolution setup to the Raleigh Tow Cool 1. Just adjust the wheel holders, press down on the super clamps, and you're set. It really is that easy. Here's a close-up of the super clamp in action. Press and release to lock in place, press down, and then give it one extra push. Your bike's not going anywhere. As an added bit of security, you get 2 wheel retention straps for securing the rear wheels. These look and work like oversized zip ties. And on my Saris Superclamp, 2 bikes, a Raleigh Tow Cool 1 and a Mongoose XR Pro. Only the wheels holding things in place. No worry about Mars on the frames. And the cable locks and the rear wheel straps provide just that little extra bit of comfort. On my tiny car, things aren't too bad when it's road ready. Not a lot hanging off to the side. Now the rack does hang out the back, so that makes my rear backup camera practically useless. But I do have a tiny car, so I can just turn around and look out back. Coming from over a month with a Harbor Freight rack, it's so pleasant to have this thing on the back of the car. The bikes don't move. There are no flex and grind noises coming from that moving rack every time you hit a bump, that it's really pleasant. You almost forget that it's there. And noises and shimmy are not all you're immune to with this rack. You're also free of the worry about any marring on your frame. Even the good bike racks that have an arm that contact your frame can do damage on bumps or rough terrain. Not with the Saris Superclamp. Things come off as easy as they go on, but it is worth note, I don't have the tilting version of this rack. So if I need to get to the back bike, I have to take off the front bike. Not a problem for me, but if that's something that worries you, you can always spend the extra $100 and get the tilting version of this rack. That's it for the Saris Superclamp 2-bike rack. Thanks for watching, have a great day, and stay tuned for more great bike videos, including more on the XR Pro.